On the 23rd of February 1995, the oldest bank in Britain received a fax. 2 words, "I'm sorry." By the time anyone understood what those words meant, Nick Leeson was already on a plane, and Barings Bank, 233 years old, banker to the Queen of England, was gone forever. Leeson was 28 years old. He had no degree in finance. He had started his career filing paperwork in a back office. And in 3 years, he had secretly lost $1.4 billion, more money than the entire bank was worth. But here's the part nobody talks about. The bank didn't just fail to catch him. They handed him the keys, looked the other way, and called his losses profits. This is the story of how one man destroyed the oldest bank in Britain and the single accounting trick that made it all possible. This is the Bust Files. Nick Leeson grew up in Watford, England, a working-class town just north of London. No finance degree, no family connections. He got a job as a clerk at Coutts Bank straight out of school and worked his way up through back offices at Morgan Stanley and Barings. By 1992, Barings sent him to Singapore to run their futures trading operation on the Singapore International Monetary Exchange (SIMEX). He was 25 years old. He was made both head trader and head of back office settlement in every other bank on earth. These are 2 completely separate jobs for one very important reason. The trader executes the deals. The back office checks whether the trader is actually making money. At Barings Singapore, Nick Leeson did both. He was checking his own homework, and nobody in London thought to ask why. Here's how it worked. Every trading desk has an error account, a holding space for mistakes, wrong trades, small discrepancies that need to be reconciled. Think of it like a lost and found for bad trades. At Barings Singapore, that account was called 88888. In Chinese culture, 8 is the luckiest number, 5 8s the luckiest possible combination. Nick Leeson used account 88888 to hide every losing trade he ever made. A bad bet on Japanese stocks into 88888. A position that moved the wrong way overnight into 88888. A trade that would have ended his career if London found out into 88888. And because he controlled both the trading desk and the back office, the account simply never appeared in the reports sent to London. He deleted it from the system every time head office ran a check. By the end of 1992, his first full-year account, 88888, already held £2 million in hidden losses. He reported a profit. London sent him a bonus. The problem with hiding losses is that you have to keep trading to cover them. Every losing position needs a bigger winning bet to cancel it out. By 1993, account 88888 held £23 million. Leeson kept betting. By 1994, it held £208 million. He kept betting. His strategy was a double-down approach called a straddle betting, simultaneously that the Japanese market would stay stable. It worked when markets were calm, but it meant that any sharp move in either direction would be catastrophic. On the 17th of January 1995, the Great Hanshin earthquake struck Kobe, Japan, magnitude 7.3. Over 6,000 people killed, one of the deadliest earthquakes in Japanese history. The Nikkei index, the Japanese stock market, dropped sharply. Nick Leeson's positions collapsed overnight. He didn't stop. He doubled down again. Then, again. He was buying billions in Nikkei futures, trying to single-handedly prop up the Japanese stock market with Barings money. By February 1995, account 88888 held £827 million. The losses were now larger than Barings Bank itself was worth. There was no trade big enough to fix this. On the 23rd of February 1995, Nick Leeson didn't come to work. He left a note on his desk, 2 words, "I'm sorry." Then he faxed the same message to Barings headquarters in London and got on a plane to Kuala Lumpur with his wife. When Barings management finally looked at account 88888, the account they had never properly examined, they found $1.4 billion in hidden losses. The equivalent of every single pound of capital the bank possessed, plus more. The Bank of England tried to organise a rescue. They called every major bank in London that weekend. One by one, they all passed. On the 26th of February 1995, Barings Bank was declared insolvent. 233 years old. Banker to Queen Victoria, financier of the Louisiana Purchase, gone in a weekend. It was sold to Dutch bank ING for a single pound. Nick Leeson made it to Kuala Lumpur, then to Brunei, then to Frankfurt. At Frankfurt Airport, German police arrested him on an Interpol red notice. While he waited for extradition, the story got worse. Investigators discovered that Barings executives in London had been warned repeatedly that something was wrong in Singapore. An internal audit in 1994 flagged that Leeson had too much control over both trading and settlement. The recommendation: separate the roles immediately. Barings management reviewed the report. They noted the concern. Then they did nothing, because Leeson was reporting record profits and they didn't want to disrupt the golden goose. The bank that had survived the Napoleonic Wars, 2 World Wars, and the Great Depression was destroyed not by a market crash, but by a management team that chose not to look. Nick Leeson was extradited to Singapore in 1995. He pleaded guilty to 2 counts of deceiving the bank's auditors and cheating the Cimex exchange. He was sentenced to 6.5 years in Changi Prison, one of the world's most notorious jails. While in prison, he was diagnosed with colon cancer and survived. He was released in 1999 after serving 4.5 years, having been given early release for good behavior and his illness. ING, which had bought Barings for £1, absorbed the operation and eventually wrote off the losses entirely. Of the 1,200 Barings employees who showed up to work on Monday the 27th of February 1995, every single one lost their job. Pensions, savings, careers gone overnight because of decisions made by one trader and enabled by a management team that celebrated the numbers without asking where they came from. The British government passed new regulations requiring trading and settlement to always be separate roles, a rule so obvious it had never needed to be written down. Until Nick Leeson, a 28-year-old with no finance degree, walked into a 3-year-old institution and handed himself the keys to the vault. He didn't steal the money, he lost it one bad trade at a time, hidden in an account named after the luckiest number in Chinese culture. The real story of Barings isn't about fraud in the traditional sense. It's about what happens when an institution rewards results so aggressively that it stops asking how those results were achieved. Account 88888 existed for 3 years. It appeared in no report. It triggered no alarm, because the man hiding the losses was also the man responsible for finding them. That's not a Nick Leeson problem. That's a Barings problem. And it's a problem that still exists in every institution that measures performance without measuring risk. Follow the bust files, because the money always leaves a trail. We just